Okay guys, so now I'm with Big Rich and I'm in front of his pool pond or whatever you call it.
Well, it's actually called an aquascape ecosystem predator pond.
All right, that's a long name.
It's a long, yeah, pool pond's easier.
All right. Okay, first, can we start with the stock that you have?
As far as the fish, well, we've got a bunch of stingrays from Stingray Biology. They had to move from California out to New Jersey. So, and when they get set up in New Jersey or New York, they will come and get their rays back. We're just holding them for them. And in the meantime, this is the only place we could put them that could take that kind of bio load, you know. So this whole predator pond, come on down this way. The whole bottom, this used to be 12 foot deep. The filtration is like 5.5 foot deep now. It's, there's, what do they call, centipedes, and that takes the water and it disperses it out, you know, spreading it through like a tube. And then there's aqua blocks. Now they sit on top of the centipede and on top of, you know, level ground, and the water comes up into there from the centipede that's spreading it out. It goes into there and then slows way down. Now it goes through big rocks, about a foot thick of big rocks, and then about a foot of medium rocks, and then a foot of this stuff right here. So it's basically like a reverse flow under gravel filter, all biological and mechanical at the same time. If you can see that pile of rocks right there, the very center is where I clean it out once a year. Now you take that cap off, you put your pump in there. I had to get another cap that I can drill a hole through and put my hose in it, because usually that comes up to above the water level. Okay. So you just throw a pump in there with a hose and you pump it out backwards and it flushes the system out. Because mine's underwater and I didn't want a big hose, I wanted to look as natural as possible. I had to get another lid for it and drill a hole through and put it onto the pump that I put down in there with the hose so that it seals it. Now it sucks water from underneath back through the gravel and pumps it outside. I only got to do that once a year. Over there is the pump vault for everything under here, and then the returns come back in from the waterfalls. Okay. And I have the waterfalls going through rivers of plants and then returning the water over here.
Oh wait, so everything goes to the plants first, then?
Yes, then back in.
Okay.
Now that was my addition onto Aquascape's master plan here. They put an amazing filtration system in here, and the only way I could add to it is, instead of having the waterfall come back in and splash into the pool, I made this river system, because under here, okay, now see the square right there that you can actually like walk on? That is the original pool cover housing, and it has a roll in there, and see these metal tubing right here? This is the tracks that the pool cover rides on, and it closes up. Well, now that I have this river here, the pool cover is rolled up in there. So I made that into a river and put a liner over it, and then I had to cement a row of bricks in to give it a lip on this side. So now all the water from the waterfall travels through there, through all these plants, does a U here and falls back in here.
Ah, I see.
So I can get some more plants on it.
Yes, yes, yes.
I believe in plants. And you know, the reason why is, if you've ever seen out in the countryside, you ever go fishing, you go to a farmer's pond and there's some big, huge bass in there, big bucket mouth bass. And you know, everybody throws like, you know, frogs on top, or scum frogs. They're little plastic frogs that are weedless, and they jump off the lily pads into the water, and then the big bass nail them. Well, that pond, you've never seen a farmer out there changing his water.
Yes.
It's nature, it's natural. Of course, some rain gets in there, but it's the plants in that whole ecosystem that's keeping the water pristine with no nitrates. The plants are eating. And you know, the more fish are in there, the more plants can grow. So if you see a pond with a whole bunch of plants on it, you know there's some fish in there.
Yeah, because like for the bioload, they are already been taken care of by the biomedia. I mean, like your gravels work as a biomedia as well, right? Well,
actually, as a mechanical and biological at the same time.
Same time.
Because you're going from big rocks to smaller rocks to smaller rocks. So it traps particulates as it's coming up, but all the rocks are covered in bacteria.
Yes, correct.
So, and so are the aqua blocks down underneath the rocks. So it's a dual purpose filtration, and you know what? I couldn't be happier with it. We put in 40 stingrays at one time, and wow, and these are some big stingrays. And it did not, you know, we did not, you know, lose a bunch of fish or stingrays type thing. it handled the extra bio load. I was impressed. Aquascape Systems came in here and did this for free for us. They are amazing. Greg Woodstock, the pond guy, he owns Aquascape, and they're the company that came in here and did that. I got to give them a shout out.
All right. So for this pond, do you use like a UV light, something like that?
We have no UV light.
No UV light, right?
No. I would like
so
to,
you
but
heavily relies on the plants
the plants.
to absorb the nitrate and also to reduce the algae, right?
Right. The more plants that eat up the nutrients here, the less nutrients in the water for algae to grow.
Yes, correct. Okay.
Well, thank you, sir. I am correct. Yeah, I got it right.
All right. So, what is it called?
That's a bio barrel, basically.
The barrel.
That we got from Vincent Wu, and basically it's filled up all the way with bio balls, and then the top 3 inches are 3 different 1-inch pads of heavy, a medium, and a fine pad. Now, I added them in there since we had the bio balls, and I knew the stingrays were coming. I added that on there because I expected a big problem when they got here. I didn't know that this filtration would handle it so well.
These are the stingrays, yeah?
Yeah, them are his stingrays. And there's this came from Vincent Wu also. That's a 4-foot short-bodied alligator gar. So he's got the mouth and the tail of a 6-footer.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, now basically, this is just a plant. The more plants I have sitting in water, the less I have to water them. But this is the bottom of a tub, any plastic tub. You just drill a bunch of holes in it, and you put your water into it. And if you can look underneath this tub, I'll try and hold it up.
It's spaced out evenly, yeah? Wow.
Yes. So now, then it goes through, I'm sorry. This is a fine pad, a medium pad, and then I only got a medium and a fine on here, and then bio balls. So mechanical and then biological filtration.
And how often do you replace or change the sponge?
Whenever they start filling up, when I see water up here like this, at this level, above the sponges, I know they're full. And maybe once a year, I clean them, you know.
Because the way I see your filtration setups, bro, I mean, like, it's super effective. I mean, like, well, I know, like, you have to take care of all, like, I don't know, how many tanks do you have here, actually?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you gotta figure out how to do it more efficiently.
Efficiently, yes.
Yeah.
Well, what we got is, it used to be the pumps would only pump up to that waterfall and then back into the pool.
Oh, okay.
So what I did was, I took the pump water, ran it up here, across, and I have it filling this tank, and then they overflow and come back and run to that waterfall.
Oh, wait. So these 2 tanks, they are with the pond's filter.
Right, yes.
Okay.
And so are all 3 of those.
Okay.
Now, see, the reason being is the pumps were just pumping up to the waterfall and coming down back to the pool. A lot of wasted energy there. Here, we're pumping them up to here and then overflowing them into the waterfall, coming down through the plants and then back into the system. So that's a fast pass-through. In other words, we don't have no other filtration on here. It's passing through so fast that we don't need filtration on here. It's just getting replaced. Now, if it was a slow, like trickle drip, like drip, 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 or even a stream of water coming in, we'd still need mechanical and biological filtration on this tank.
And I think I figured something from you, bro. I mean, like, the key of your setups here are to quarantine the new fish.
Quarantine the new fish.
Because, like, everything's are in the same system. So if there is one fish gets sick,
everything
might get affected.
Now,
right?
here's the thing. You've all bought, medications. You all know how expensive they are.
I know.
So how would you like to medicate 50 gallons as opposed to 50,000 gallons?
I know, right?
We've had to medicate this whole thing. And what we did was we put, I don't remember how many pounds of salt in. We started with the salt, then we had to go to medication. The salt almost killed all of our plants. We didn't even think of that. We're trying to save the fish. And then we had to buy, I think it was like $700 in medications, and we got rid of it and everything was fine. But that somehow something got past our quarantine system into our main system. Now, it's dangerous to run a main system like that. Like if you were a public aquarium and you had unlimited funding, like they get government grants and all that, I wouldn't do it like this. Me running off of my electric bill, my gas bill, my water bill, this is the most efficient way to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't save money anywhere else on this system.
So basically each tank, they only have mechanicals, but the biology and everything is from the main pond.
Right, well, every tank in the fish room.
And how do you quarantine your tank, bro? I mean, like, what are the steps that you usually do? When there is a new fish coming into this place, like, what do you do first? Like, how do you quarantine them? Like,
we've got a whole row of quarantine tanks out there, and then we do 3 weeks of quarantine, a week of bacterial, a week of fungal, and a week of parasites. Thank you.
Parasites.
A week of parasite, a week of fungal, a week of bacterial.
Okay,
Thank you.
It doesn't. I mean, like, it doesn't matter whether the fish looks healthy or not. You just do it.
You do it anyway because of the stress of moving. And anyone that's into the fish hobby knows that you can have a completely, healthy fish, and if you move it to another tank, you can have an ick breakout. That's the most common. You can have any sickness breakout because fish are like us. Inside our body, there is a war going on right now. I am healthy. I am not sick. I don't have sniffles. I'm not, sneezing, nothing. I'm not sick. So the fish are the same way. We have our bacteria is fighting off the bad bacteria. Well, when you go through stress, like I run outside in the snow barefoot for 3 hours, I'm going to wake up sick in the morning, You work, 30 hours straight, you're going to wake up maybe sick, Whenever you stress your system, then your bacteria may not win that fight, and sickness can take over because the sickness is inside of us. Same thing with fish. The fish don't look like it has ick. You put it in your tank, and now you have an ick breakout. It was from the move. It was from non-quarantining. It was from maybe the pH difference in the water, and you acclimated it just fine, like everyone said. All the experts said to do it this way. You did it, and then you still have an ick breakout. The experts didn't tell you about the pH difference,
Yes.
I mean, a pH is a very hard thing to acclimate to. That's got to be like over a week, and then you can be sure. But there's a lot of different factors. So we quarantine first because every move stresses a fish. I don't care how good you are, it stresses a fish.
So even though you're just moving from this tank to the pond, it potentially can...
It's possible, yes. If we had to in this situation, because we're running the same water, you're taking from the same water to the same water, the only stress they're getting is the net. So we hurry up, and we have done that before.
So if it is just like a split seconds, then this would be fine, right?
From the same water to the same water. Okay. If I'm getting something from you, which you have beautiful fish, and I'm going to bring it here into my beautiful water, I'm still going to quarantine because that was a long, stressful move. Okay. And it's the two different types of water. Your pH may be 7.5 and mine's 8.0. Who knows? So I mean, the alkalinity is different, pH is different, the hardness is different, and it all affects fish.